Warning, the following video contains false information and is meant for entertainment only. It also contains violence, sexual conduct, profane fucking language and annoying robotic text-to-speech voices. If you are offended by any of the above, get a fucking sense of humor. Your discretion is advised.
Hello my fabulous foot clientele, my name is Ranma Saotome, the swellest foot fighter in Japan, and today I am going to explain why I declined the part of John Spartan in the 1993 sci-fi action movie Demolition Man. It was the early 90s and my swell anime TV series was just wrapping up along with 2 theatrical movies under my belt. Then one day I read a Hollywood article in the newspaper that they were looking for a potential lead in the up-and-coming coming action movie Demolition Man, about an LAPD sergeant who is frozen years into the future only to be unfrozen in order to hunt down an A-list psycho criminal in an advanced futuristic utopia. Naturally I figured this would be a great career move, as it was a chance to get some acting exposure outside of Japan and become an international Hollywood film star. And so I boarded the next plane out to the United States, where I auditioned for the lead role. And director Marco Brambilla was so impressed by my performance that I was a shoe-off for sure. Finally, a chance to get my toes wet as a big-time Hollywood actor was about to come true, or so I thought. I arrived at the studio for the first day at shooting, doing my scene with my co-star, a psychopathic crime lord by the name of Simon Phoenix, played by Wesley Snipes. Whoa, baby, Wes's character in this movie was a real hoot and by far the best thing in it. Just seeing him sport that Dennis Rodman hairdo and those striped Beetlejuice pants in the opening scene was enough to get my juices flowing right then and there. And as the film's leading man, I was able to put in my 2 cents about the script and offer suggestions to improve on its content. For example, in the scene where I track down Phoenix and we engage in the first action sequence of the film, well, I suggested that during the fight I yank my boots off and start to pummel Phoenix with some mad martial arts kicks from my deadly dumplings, and it would sound like give it up Phoenix. There's no way you stand a chance against my podophilic martial arts moves. Surrender now and I'll tantalize you with some pleasurable purple murples. Why, I'll even let you lick the milk off my tender toes and say it's yummy. Sorry, I was thinking about my sexy bunion bride to be bagu. Yes, that would have been day so swell. And speaking of scenes that could have been swell, there was the scene where I get arrested alongside Phoenix when he reveals that the hostages were all killed in the explosion in his hideout and the blood was on my hands, although it would have been sweller if it were on my feet. But anyways, after a trial scene, both me and Phoenix would be sentenced to be cryogenically frozen and are to be subliminally rehabilitated at a later date. The scene where I get frozen in a block of ice was a very difficult task to begin with, since pouring cold water on me would turn me into my female form. I suggested an ulterior method of preserving John Spartan in cryogenic status rather than freezing him, something similar to that of the rejuvenation chambers in DBZ. And instead of cold water they could fill the tank with warm foot sweat, which would preserve my body and sustain me until it was ready to be released in the future. Bagu, yes, that would have been swell. Later in the movie, Simon Phoenix is unfrozen in the year 2032, and starts to go on a rampage resulting in a series of murder death. Oh sweet Lilith, this term is so fucking redundant kills, and the now San Angeles Police Department must revive John Spartan and reinstate him as an officer to apprehend Phoenix. In the scene where Spartan has to go to the bathroom, which marks the infamous 3 seashell moment in the film, I of course made a much sweller suggestion that John Spartan will have felt sexually repressed during his hibernation and needed to relieve that tension by spanking the monkey royally. Not only would it have added a bit of comedy to Spartan's character, but it would help yours truly relieve some actual tension on set, since I've been having steamy creamy dreamy fantasies about my aforementioned soulmate Akatame Tendo, her older sisters Nabiki and Kasumi, my Amazon bride shampoo, Uhakiyo Kuanji, and those delightful Kuno siblings. And since I'm bringing up Kuno baby, my other hot male BFFs Ryoga Moose and even that pansexual drag queen Tsubasa were also in the back of my mind during the scenes of me being frozen all that time. But anyways, the suggested masturbation scene would have went something like oh my cat name, my sweet, smear those gifts from Lilith all over my dreams. Shampoo, you can't stir your toes in my pubic hairs like a
bowl of instant noodles
any day. Who needs a spatula to flip okonomiyaki when you got a pair of slender flesh paddles to toss my meat and potatoes? using the 3 seashells to pick between my toes like catch, getting those hard to reach places at I'm gonna come bag. That was Daesu Swell on the slender badge.
Forget about the badge! When do we get the freaking guns?
Oh yeah, guess I should mention the part about the scene where Simon Phoenix breaks into the museum to steal a gun and other dangerous weapons. As the scene would involve another intense action sequence between me and Snipes' character, which would include a lot of corny action one-liners, I suggested that there should be some podophilically friendly banter between me and Phoenix, such as I'm always one step ahead of you, going toe-to-toe never looked so right, you'll get a real kick out of this one, or my personal favorite, Simon says stick your foot in it. Bag, yes that would have been swell. Next we are introduced to the film's secondary antagonist Dr. Raymond Cocteau, founder and mayor of the utopian city of Los Angeles and acting CEO of the cryo prison and the man responsible for unfreezing Simon Phoenix. Yes, Cocteau releases Phoenix on parole and secretly programs him to take out a man by the name of Edgar Friendly, played by Dennis Leary, who leads a literal underground resistance in the sewers of Los Angeles. In the scene Cocteau offers to take me to Taco Bell as a token of thanks for quote-unquote saving him from Phoenix after his escape from the museum. If it weren't for the fact that Drum in the Sun wouldn't be a thing until years after this film's production, I would have definitely suggested it as the restaurant in the movie to survive the franchise wars, and I could satisfy my pedal palate with a tasty toe treat on set rather than that cheap imitation of authentic Mexican cuisine. Berg. But now let's get to probably my favorite part in the movie and one of my most shot down suggestions for the film, the scene in where Lieutenant Lena Huxley, played by my other co-star Sandra Bullock, invites John Spartan back to her place for a night of sex. Oh sweet Lilith, this was the moment I've been waiting for. In the scene Lieutenant Huxley places a helmet on Spartan which projects flashing images of Huxley's face while stimulating his sexual impulses. And as I'm sure you've guessed by now, I suggested that instead of Huxley's face it should be her bare feet projecting on the screen driving up Spartan's horniness, after which Spartan would proceed to rip off the helmet and lunge onto Huxley to relieve the sexual tension, and it would sound like showing you the process of fluid exchange in the swellest way possible. Sandra Bullock's Daesu pedalage makes me all horny. By the way, my sweet app cat May-chan is also a big fan of your work as well as your feet. Here comes a heavy stream of my secure foam all over those hot rod mamas. Be well in the tender toes. Bagu, yes that would have been Daesu Swell. And speaking of things that would have been swell, let's finally get to the alternate ending to the film that I suggested to these uncute Philistines before booting me off the production. You see, I wanted it so that, after we teamed up with Edgar Friendly and his underground freedom fighters, we would track down Simon Phoenix, and there would be another intense fight scene with Phoenix and his newly acquired henchmen. And after the battle me, Lieutenant Huxley and Edgar Friendly would pounce on top of Phoenix and start giving him a three-way scrub out with our powerful chopsticks of justice, and it would sound like my famous chest hairs roasting on an open-toed fire attack. And this will completely deprogram all the bullshit Cocteau put into him, and also he would become a swell podophiliac like the rest of us. After Phoenix becomes our rashy ally, we would then head to the cryo prison and confront that uncute prude Baka Cocteau and the rest of the Los Angeles police force, who will try to put me and Phoenix back into cryogenic stasis, and we would all engage in a mastodonic mega stomp toe tugging rape rumble, and it would all go like put me back in the freezer, will you? We'll see about that. Liked it or not, Chief, earlier getting a major scrub down. Do I make myself clear or am I being obtuse? Get it, cause he's played by Bob Dundon, I'm sorry, what seems to be your boggle?
My boggle?
We've got to rape for our future. I've seen the future, and you know what it is. It's a 47-year-old virgin sitting around his beige pajamas drinking a banana broccoli shake and singing I'm an Oscar Mayer wiener. We're here to put a stop to all that. And then we will have Cocteau buried up to his neck into jam pedal cheese and many of our other combined foot substances and let him think happy thoughts forever, and me and the rest of the characters would celebrate our new lease on life with a massive sexy smooth loafer love in. Magoo, yes, that would have been swell. Director Marco Brambilla said that I was the most degenerate person he has ever met and that my suggestions were batshit crazy. Also, why would you make the main villain of the film pull a total 180 and help out the protagonists in toppling a passive-aggressive dystopia, when he himself has committed countless atrocities including murder? He is a total scum of the earth and he deserves to be taken out in some form of justice for his terrible crimes. You should be ashamed of yourself for even thinking of giving a psychotic killer like Simon Phoenix some kind of redemption arc and then ending the film on such a depraved note. Now get out. But hi, those were his exact words. Berg, how more uncute can you get? Anyways, that's how I almost starred in Demolition Man. And you know what? It actually turned out rather swell with Sly Coon taking my place and was still an action-packed thrill ride that I like to watch every now and then. Plus me and Abkatane still love to beat it off to Sandra Bullock sporting that white robe during the quote-unquote sex scene. Wink. But if I had to do it all over again, I would have made sure to shove my opinions feet first down the director's throat until he finally gave into my swell suggestions and made the film sweller for epic lulz. Well, domo arigato for watching, YouTubers, and sayonara until the next one. Peace out for now.